Hello, today I'm gonna show you how to procedurally generate these fans with Blender Geo Nodes. So I'm gonna start with another scene. So I already have here the in-between post and the corner one, and I'm gonna base this on a Bezier curve. So I'm gonna create a Bezier curve, go to edit mode. I'm gonna turn this into poly so it's flat. I'm gonna also subdivide so I have a corner point, and I'm gonna already have grid snap. Okay, so I'm gonna make like an L shape, and I have this Bezier here, and I'm gonna create a new Geo Nodes system, and I'm gonna pin it so I can always see it here. And I'm gonna first thing I'm gonna use an instance on point, and I'm gonna use my in-between post. Gonna drag and drop it here, use it on an instance, and because I only have 3 points at the end points and the corner one is gonna instance of those location. To have more posts, we're gonna have to resample our curve and specify based on length. So we're gonna say on a distance of 30 centimeters I want this post to be instanced, and always gonna keep constant the same distance. So now the issue arises when they all have the same orientation. So to fix that, we need to take our Bezier curve, and we need to extrude it. But before we extrude it, we need to turn the curve into a mesh. Curve to mesh. So, and then we need to extrude the mesh based on the edge, and now it's gonna extrude on XYZ. So to fix that, we need a vector, and we need to specify the z-axis. So now we have the extrude faces, and we can take the normal from these faces to correctly orient the fence post. So what we need to separate the geometry to have two faces. So we separate the geometry by face, and then we need to sample nearest surface, and we need to sample the vector and normal value, and we need to align this by vector to the rotation. So if we preview this, Control Shift click, we see it's doing something, but it's not still there because this align works with rotation. So we specify local and on 270 degrees. Now we see it's oriented correctly. So now we need a corner post also. So we have this system. This is the orientation, and we can Control J and group it and say F2, and we say orientation. And now we need to create the curve, the corner posts. So we're gonna take and split the extruded mesh. We're gonna split the edges, so we're gonna split these two faces, and we can see the difference because here they are connected, like they are merged with each other and they have the same shading. So now if they are split, they have their individual shading. So we can select by edge angle, and we're gonna do a compare. We're gonna delete the geometry, and we need to turn this again into a curve. So we're gonna delete the top, and if you can preview, we have this Bezier the curve again. And we're gonna turn this into a mesh curve, and now we have the same 3 points where the corner posts will always be instanced. So we're gonna turn this mesh to curve again, and I'm gonna copy the other one, Alt D, the instance on point, and to combine these two elements we're gonna have a join geometry, control right click to delete. So if we visualize this, and now I want the fence post, I want to drag and drop and use this one here. You see it's gonna instance in the corners, so it's gonna be always in the corners, but you can see it because we have the other curve, resample curve for the other one, it's gonna intersect with the corner post, so we want to correct that. So we're gonna use this new created curve and use from this one, and we're gonna use the resample again, and we recreate the curve, and now you can see it's like separated from this one, it's split. And now we need to say, okay, we want for this one only the end points. We're gonna have only the first and the last one instance the corner post, and we can also specify for this one if we want to force it, but we need a boolean, and we need to invert, we need a boolean math, we need to invert this selection, say not. So for this one is like the endpoint selection, like first and last, and if we say not, that means except first and last, so it's gonna be the in between. And now you can see it's always gonna create in the corner. So if we subdivide this and we're gonna have another one in between, you can see it's gonna create in the corner another corner post. So now if we want a transversal element that is gonna connect these in-betweeners, we need to create that from the split edges, because we know we have the split edges, and if we're gonna extrude this and transform them, we're gonna have the connected piece of the in-betweeners. So I'm gonna control shift left click, and you can have the previewer So we're gonna extrude this by faces, and if we transform this, let's say a value of 0.1 here, and here like a value of 0.05, and we can connect this in the join geometry. We can see we have the connected, which keeps the in-betweeners, so we can have this even slimmer if we play with the settings here. Okay, so actually we now you see like the shading is like very smooth, so we need to flatten it. So we actually have like a shading node, set shade smooth, so you can disable and have it set. Okay, so now if we want another one, we can select this and we can say Ctrl Shift D, and we can copy the whole node structure, and we can add it to the join geometry, and if we move it lower, we can have the another one, so we can move it. Now this was, let me copy from this one, so I want to move it like 0.25. I think it's alright. So now we have our fence, and we can say orientation. We can say this is the corner post. Ctrl J if you want to organize it and want to spend more, and say corner. And now let's look at our system. So let's hide this, and you can see now it's procedurally adjustable. So if you go to edit mode, you can do any size you want and any dimension, any size, and you can add more in between. It's always gonna have one at the corner. So yeah guys, that's it, the system. Thanks so much. See you.